Welcome to the 2020 Farmworker Justice National Awards. Each Tuesday during Hispanic Latino Heritage Month, we will pay tribute to an individual who has worked tirelessly to advance the agenda that puts forth the ongoing plight that farm workers and immigrants face each and every day. We will be honoring this year's awardees through a series of 30-minute presentations recorded via Zoom and released on the Farmworker Justice website and all of our social media handles. Please log on to Farmworker Justice's website for a complete list of awardees and presenters at farmworkerjustice.org. As we begin, I would like to tell you about the social justice impact that Farmworker Justice achieves every year. Founded in 1981, Farmworker Justice is a not-for-profit organization headquartered in Washington, D.C. We work with farm worker groups all over the country to achieve major impacts, including in California. Our organization has a track record of engaging groups around the country and other allies on empowering farm workers to improve immigration status, labor rights, occupational safety, health, and access to the justice system. We engage in policy analysis, advocacy in Congress and federal agencies, litigation, public education, capacity building of community-based groups, and corporate social responsibility initiatives. Events like these provide us with an opportunity to raise the critical financial resources that we need to continue our valuable work. We'd like to thank our supporters for these events. They include the California Community Foundation, the United Nurses Association of California, Union of Healthcare Professionals, South Bay Hospital, AARP, and Good Farms. Now let's begin. Today, we pay tribute to Brooke Oliver with the Shelley Davis Memorial Award. Brooke, welcome.
I thank you, Bruce. I'm really humbled and excited and honored. Thank you so much.
So I'd like to tell our audience about the person in whose name the award is. Shelley Davis was an amazing person. She was our deputy director and my longtime colleague, an amazing litigator, an incredible advocate, and beloved by the farm worker organizations that she assisted, especially the farm worker women's groups that she helped develop. At Farmworker Justice, Shelley worked on everything, but she was especially known nationally for her advocacy and litigation on pesticides and on the rights of workers under the H-2A guest worker program. She was also really well known for her work with farm worker women's organizations on health and many other issues. Everything that Shelley did was made even more impressive by the fact that she had a progressive eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa, causing her to gradually go blind. She did not let that stop her. Then for several years, she valiantly fought breast cancer until she died at age 56 in December 2008. The Shelley Davis Memorial Fund at Farmworker Justice carries on Shelley's legacy, and we also carry on that legacy by awarding deserving people of awards each year named after Shelley. Brooke Oliver is a nationally respected arts and entertainment attorney who also represents artistic and social justice not-for-profit organizations. It is said that Brooke's approach is law in the service of soul. She is a creative spirit, passionate, thorough, scholarly, and committed. Brooke is the person artists and cultural activists and anyone who's the best at what they do hire to help them protect and expand their organizations and their unique legacies, values, and approaches. As outside intellectual property counsel for the United Farm Workers, Brooke maintains and protects the iconic symbols of the farm worker movement, Si Se Puede and the Black Eagle, working closely with in-house counsel about how to do so cost effectively and to ensure that the use of these trademarks benefits farm workers and Latinos. This includes a licensing program. One of her accomplishments is the licensing of rights to Barack Obama to use Si Se Puede during his presidential campaign. So again, welcome, Brooke.
Well, Bruce, thank you very much for that glowing introduction. I'm humbled. And Dolores, thank you so very much for being part of this to present the award. You know how I feel about you as a friend and as a mentor, and You know, you've taught me so very much. I'm really grateful that you're here. It's humbling. So the advocacy work of Farmworker Justice has made tremendous changes for good, and it's kind of incredible to be able to receive an award that is honoring the legacy of Shelley Davis. That's auspicious company to have my name associated with. So thank you very much. I'm deeply honored. Nonprofits like Farmworker Justice and the Dolores Huerta Foundation and the UFW and its allied nonprofit organizations are up against huge obstacles and resistance while they fight for even the most basic needs and rights. There are wealthy growers, there are laws, there's Republican legislatures, there's a Republican administration that are not at all interested in serving the needs of the farm workers who are out there in the fields picking our food. So, you know, the nonprofits like these organizations are trying to get even the most basic human needs and rights met, to have enough food to eat, to have farm workers' children go to and stay in school rather than having to work in the fields or be expelled disproportionately, to learn organizing skills, even to run for office, so that this is not, you know, that there's real leadership and people who have the experience of growing up in farm worker families who are now in our state and national legislatures. And so, you know, no longer being outside the halls of power, but being inside the halls of power. So that work of these nonprofit organizations, you know, is something that happens only with the support of all of us. And that's part of what I do legally, is help with the structures and the compliance and, you know, all of the things that come up as nonprofit questions, as well as doing the intellectual property work that we do. You know, each meal that we eat, you know, we think of farm workers. You can't take for granted that we have inexpensive fruits and vegetables to eat on our plates. The farm workers who pick those fruits and vegetables are among our most vulnerable and not often able to even feed their own families. The right to eat is a fundamental right. And when we eat, we give thanks to farm workers. I hope everybody else will too. And the work that we can do to support and make them less vulnerable and more secure is a passion that all of us share. So thank you for recognizing the work that I do, but it is, you know, it is a team effort for all of us, and teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh, thank you. It's very kind of you, and we agree with you about the priorities and the needs that should be served, and in helping farm workers empower themselves to control their own destinies, improve their families, their communities, and their workplaces. So before I ask Dolores Huerta to present the award to you, let me just ask you one question, Brooke. How did you first become involved with the farm worker movement?
I became involved in college in the boycott. And that was a boycott that Dolores organized nationally. A group of farm workers and Dolores and volunteers got on a bus and went to New York and started one of the most powerful boycotts that's ever happened, boycott grapes, boycott lettuce. And I was out on the picket lines for that. And then I did some other work, the same thing when I was going to UC Davis. We were right there in the Central Valley, checking people on lists that growers submitted about who could vote to decide whether or not it could be a union workplace. I was a translator at the Farm Worker Service Center. And then I was a bodyguard for Caesar when he would come into Yolo County. I don't know what we would have done if anybody had attacked other than give our lives, but we were out there circling the houses that he stayed in with his German Shepherds, Boycott and Welga. So I've been involved for 45 years.
To help us present the award to you, Brooke, it's my pleasure to introduce Dolores Huerta. She's a civil rights activist and community organizer. She's worked for labor rights and social justice for over 50 years. In 1962, She and Cesar Chavez founded the United Farm Workers Union. She served as vice president and played a critical role in many of the union's accomplishments, including major collective bargaining agreements and legislation at the state and federal levels. She founded the Dolores Huerta Foundation. It is connecting community-based organizations to state and national movements to register and educate voters, advocate for education reform, bring about infrastructure improvements in low-income communities, advocate for greater equality for the LGBT community, create strong leadership development among farm worker and other community-based organizations. She's been a leading feminist throughout her career. In 2012, President Obama bestowed on Dolores the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. So please welcome Dolores Huerta. Hello, Dolores.
Hello. Hi, thank you very much, Bruce, for having me to be part of this beautiful celebration. And I just want to say on behalf of Farmworker Justice, farm workers, immigrants, LGBT community, and all of those low-income people that have benefited from your fierce and passionate advocacy for people's civil rights. It's my honor to be able to present to you, Brooke Oliver, my dear, dear friend, the Shelley Davis Memorial Award. Si se puede con Brooke Oliver.
Oh.
Si se puede.
Oh my gosh, Dolores, that means a lot that you've taken the time out of your super busy schedule to present this award. You know how deeply I love you and feel for you, and how much I respect the grassroots organizing that you're doing through the Dolores Huerta Foundation, using the methods of Fred Ross and what you and Cesar did to start the union, house meetings in neighborhoods, making calls, going door to door, creating neighborhood organizations in 5 towns in the Central Valley called Vecinos Unidos, inspiring new leaders. You know, you're teaching them organizing skills. I went to an Organizer Institute graduation ceremony one time where people who had never spoken in public got up and spoke and showed the courage that you've inspired them to have, even though in their own countries, if they spoke up, they might be thrown in jail. So you're giving people, you've been a leader. My God, at 90, I still can't keep up with you. You know, I have to go to bed and you're still out dancing. But, you know, honestly, you know, you're now inspiring other generations of leaders to fill in the place that you have, and to increase the number of ripples going out around the world of progressive organizing for weaving movements together in really inspiring ways.
Thank you, Brooke, and thank you, Dolores.
You're welcome.
Brooke, those of us who are attorneys who are privileged enough to serve farm workers feel very fortunate that we've been able to do this work, and actually I get paid for it. I know that you've donated most of your time to the farm worker movement at no cost. So, you know, we thank you. So this concludes our awards episode. Please remember that every Tuesday we'll be posting videos of these presentations in the afternoon during this month of Latino Heritage Month. We'll be paying tribute to deserving people who've helped empower farm workers and their family members and their organizations to help them build better workplaces and better lives. These series of 30-minute presentations that we release through our website, on Facebook, and on our YouTube channel. In closing, let me ask you to support Farmworker Justice. You'll see in the caption and other places on our website and postings how you can connect with us and make a donation. Right now, we have a matching challenge grant for the Shelley Davis Memorial Fund. If you designate your donation to the Shelley Davis Memorial Fund, it will be matched dollar for dollar. We have a $12,000 match. So again, thank you very much. Log on to farmworkerjustice.org to find a wealth of information about our organization and about the work that we do on behalf of farm workers. Click on our link to our series, The State of Farm Workers in the COVID-19 Era, to learn more about how we're working with community-based groups around the country to address the pandemic. And again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support. Be safe.